from Studio A in One Biloxi Square in Lake Worth, Texas. This is the Grandpa and Pappy Show. Welcome in, everybody.
What's up, amigo?
It is good to have everyone with us as we get ready to do another podcast program.
Another day, another dollar.
Another day, another dollar. We have had
a dollar.
We have had so much fun with this darn thing, with our clothes on. You know, it's just
and everything. Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
And another day of being sequestered inside of your house. God bless everyone who is messing with this stuff.
Oh,
just some quick updates on the corona pandemic right now. It's been reported as of this morning, Pappy, that 75,000 people alone have been confirmed to have the coronavirus in New York City.
Yeah.
In New York City alone.
Well, they say it's the epicenter, the new epicenter.
That is true.
States.
That is true.
Yeah, and we'd like to give a shout out to Ford Motor Company and General Electric for converting an automobile plant in Michigan into a factory to make ventilators. They hope to make in excess of 50,000 within 6 weeks to distribute to first responders and emergency personnel in hospitals. 500 UAW workers have volunteered to run 24-hour shifts to get this done. Now, by God, that's American action, brother.
That is, and a shout out to UAW. I mean,
God bless you guys, man. Yeah.
Everybody else is staying home. Now think about that. 500 UAW workers said, "Okay, let's get this done. We'll divide up in shifts, work 24/7 until we get it done."
Well, there's
God,
a lot
that
of
is
people out there stepping up. You know.
Oh, a lot of people.
Even you individuals, bless your heart for what you're doing. You know, I mean, my
good
son
God.
and daughter-in-law are working with an outfit down south of Houston, and Jordan's delivering food, and I mean, pallet by pallet by pallet. You know, and
That's beautiful.
yeah, I mean, it's enough
great.
to make a daddy proud. You know, so bless your heart, son.
Well, on a
Pass you both.
I see George, the the janitor, got the bell fixed again. So, on a scary note here, as of this morning, the United States has 174,400 confirmed cases. 5,995 have recovered. That's a good thing.
Good number, yeah.
And 3,392 people have died from the coronavirus, which is more than died in 9/11.
Well, and I read something this morning. It was off of Yahoo News sources, which I don't know if they can be trusted or not. I hadn't researched it, but they're saying that the CDC has claimed that there might be as many as 100 to 200,000 deaths just in America alone before the dust settles on this. So
God, I hope not.
that's crazy.
Worldwide, now, Pappy, worldwide,
Wow.
the numbers are 823,479 confirmed cases. 162,937 have recovered.
Wow.
And 40,636 have passed away from it.
That's staggering numbers. And and if you've been ordered to shelter in place, please do so and keep it from spreading. Do your part. I mean, together we can probably knock this out if everybody just used common sense,
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key, using common sense.
It's the part that leaves me out because I travel to beautiful Studio A in One Biloxi Square on a daily basis pretty much. But I hold my breath till I get here, so works out okay for me so far. So.
Well, before we cut this off, I know you guys are tired of seeing 24/7 coverage of coronavirus on TV, even though it is very serious. I mean, come on. Things get old after a while.
Well, it's a serious epidemic. I mean, it is an epidemic. It's not hearsay. It's not anything to take lightly.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's there. So do your part. Do what you feel
what
like
they
you need
tell
to
you.
do. Do what they tell you. You know, I mean, whether you consider it being sheeple or not, just do it. I mean, it could be a whole lot worse. Believe me. Okay.
And Pappy, once again, we want to give a large thank you to all the doctors
Oh Lord, yes.
and the nurses.
First responders.
That's right. And all of the hospital support personnel,
Oh yeah.
you know, for all of their efforts.
And all the volunteers. I mean, that's what makes this country so beautiful. I mean, there's people that step up.
Yeah,
That step up to the plate and do what they feel like they need to do. You know, you follow your heart.
yeah, just like the Ford plant. You know, Ford
Exactly.
plant working with General Electric and all of those UAW workers stepping up.
And that's just
God bless y'all.
just a few.
God
Just a
bless
few.
y'all.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
you guys are what America is all about. I mean, God, in tough times, Pappy, we all step up.
Yeah.
That's just the fiber of a true American.
That's fact. That's what we're all about over here. You know, that's why we're leaders in what we do. You know?
That's
So,
exactly correct.
yeah, just take care of one another and do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we're asking. So
That's true. And with all of that serious stuff out of the way,
moving right along.
yeah, let's move on to the topic of the day, and that is interesting people that you meet at a bar.
Oh boy.
Now,
I
you
met
and
a
I,
few, yeah.
you and I, being old DJs and stuff like that, I'm
Yeah.
sure we've got a lot of stories that we could tell that we better not.
But a lot of them I
that's
don't
a-
need to.
That's another show, you know.
That'd be when we go unfiltered. So
There's a couple that come to mind with me,
excuse me.
and the first one is with Roy Williams, who signed with the Dallas Cowboys
I
from
remember Boy Williams.
from the
Good ball player.
Detroit Lions. He was a wide receiver,
Yeah.
and he was an old University of Texas wide receiver. He was drafted out of Texas from Detroit,
Yeah.
played there for 4 years, and signed with the Cowboys.
Yeah, I did.
And we were at a Buffalo Wild Wings there in
B-Dubs.
Valley Ranch.
B-Dubs, yeah.
Yeah, and there was about 12 of us at the bar, and on the day, it was a Saturday, on the day that he signed with the Cowboys, you know, and a sign-on bonus and everything like that, we were all sat there talking about it, and lo and behold, him and another cowboy happens to walk in and sits down at the table, and I looked it over at the guy next to me, and I said, I'll be damned. That's Roy Williams right there, you know.
Good.
And of course, I had, you know me, I always have Texas stuff on.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're big in sport. You're in depth in sports, you know, from your past careers. So.
Yeah, well, that's true. But anyway, we were talking. I said, "Hey, I'm going to say hello to him," and the guy said, "No, man, don't bother him. I mean, he's got a lot of people that's going to bug him and everything." So I walked up and I said, "Excuse me, Roy," and of course I had my Texas stuff on. I said, "I really don't want to interrupt you guys or be a pest or a nuisance. I just wanted to welcome you to the Dallas Cowboys and tell you how much we're looking forward to you playing for us and the impact you're going to bring to us."
That's called goobering up. Is what that's called.
Yeah. Well, no, I was very serious because we needed a wide receiver at that time, and he was a bad boy at the time.
Yeah, he was.
But I said, you know, and I really like the fact that you're an old Texas Longhorn. He looked at my shirt and he kind of grinned. He said, I gather you're a big Texas fan. I said, yeah, I cut my hand. I'm going to bleed burnt orange. We talked a little bit and BS'd a little bit. And I told him, I said, hey, I really don't want to bother you anymore. I just wanted to welcome you to Dallas and tell you how much we are looking forward to the coming season with you at wide receiver.
Well, that means a lot to people. You know, I mean, it's
Well, you know, sometimes on celebrities or people of fame, should we say, you know, I'm sure they're inundated with people when they go out.
oh, Lord,
And, you know, and they can't really enjoy themselves.
Right.
And the guy with him, and I cannot remember his name. I think it was an offensive lineman for the Cowboys at the time. He never said a word. He didn't acknowledge me
It
or
wasn't
anything.
Nate Newton then, was it?
No, I know Nate.
Yeah,
You know,
Nate,
so
Nate will say some words.
yeah,
Yeah, I've met him before.
that's the
He's
way
cool
it
guy.
is,
Funny-
man.
Funny guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Big old boy too.
But
Big old rascal.
I told Roy, I said, thanks for taking the time, and I shook his hand, and we went back up the bar, and all the guys up there were going, you got gonads, boy. You got some nads. And I said, well, hey, I wasn't intrusive. I was nice about it.
I didn't say anything bad about him.
I just wanted to welcome him to the Cowboys and,
pretty cool.
tell him, hook 'em horns.
There you go.
And we stayed there, and they stayed. I think they had one drink apiece.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were drinking, but they had a drink apiece, and we all decided to leave after that. I mean, a bunch of us, and I asked for my tab, and he paid for everybody at the bar's tab.
Wow.
Yeah.
He could afford it, I imagine, just with his sign-on
With that
bonus.
sign-on bonus,
On the
yeah.
other- I mean, we both come from radio backgrounds.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack being in sports, myself being in music, country music.
Yeah.
There, both of us, East Texas, et cetera,
Salute.
and so forth. And I had the opportunity. I mean, I had a cakewalk. I mean, I could walk in the back door to anywhere I wanted to on a live show, but there was an East Texas group called Lone Star.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got, how when you're backstage, you get to jibber jabber with these guys and all this, but you really don't get to know them. There was a field office in Longview called the Rusty Nail, which I used
Know
to
that very well. Yeah.
I used to frequent
Yeah.
it quite often. And they decided to have one of their gatherings with a complete staff and what have you. I mean, the whole band and the staff was there. I'm sure it was a business meeting. And I was invited to sit down and visit with them. And, I mean, what a great group of guys they were. I mean, their bass player and I got to know each other quite well. And we'd hook up and meet up at the Levee, which was a crazy kind of bar. It wasn't quite the real Palm Isle. It's a little more updated than real Palm Isle.
Oh, yeah, we got some stories from the Rio.
Oh, yeah.
Woo. Lord have mercy.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, but I've met just as my cohort has. We've met some people in bars and so forth.
Yeah.
Took
A funny story. Up in Las Colinas, there's a bar, or used to be a bar,
right.
called the Texas Bar and Grill. And for those of you who might have been over in that
I
area,
remember that.
Kid Craddock
Vaguely.
had a remote studio that he did his morning show for many, many years
Kid Craddock. I didn't know
next
that name.
door to it.
Wow.
And we'd get off of work, and my wife and I, Karen, we would go down and have a drink or two, relax for walking home,
Right.
which we lived in some apartments at about a block and a half down from
Within
it.
staggering distance. is
Within
what
staggering, that's a very good analogy
Very
right
smart.
there. But anyway, we went in, and it was hot, and we went in to have one with our favorite bartender, and for the life of me, I cannot remember his name. Tucker.
Oh, Tucker.
You are right. Boy, what a memory you have. You have some brain cells left.
After Saturday, I'm amazed.
But anyway, we were sitting there talking to Tucker and having a drink, and this guy comes in. He's got long hair, and he sits down right next to me. And I kept looking at him and kept looking at him and kept looking at him. I reached over to Karen. I said, I know this guy. I can't place him, but I know this guy. I've seen this guy. And she said, well, dummy, just reach over and introduce yourself and ask him who he is.
Thump him in the head.
So I took another shot or two of whiskey, and I reached over and I told him, I said, hey, how you doing, man? Welcome in.
I already know who
Hadn't
this is,
seen you,
yeah.
haven't seen you before. I said, but welcome in. Good to have you. I said, you come in for a cool one? Yeah, and that's how we started off. I said, by the way, my name's Jack, and he said, my name is Skunk Baxter.
Oh,
Jeff Skunk Baxter from the Doobie Brothers.
that's right. That's a
And I
biggie.
looked at him and I said,
Hall of Famers
Are you-
this year.
I said,
Yeah,
I
Rock
said,
and Roll Hall of Fame.
yeah, he was playing with the Doobie Brothers
Yeah.
then.
Yeah,
He's not anymore.
yeah.
But anyway, I said, the.
The
I mean, that's where the old stars come in your eyes.
Yeah.
The Jeff Skunk Baxter
Yep.
of the Doobie Brothers. And he
Yep.
said, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I said,
Oh my God.
boy, you could tell Pappy's been taking his Ninja Warrior training.
That's right.
But-
That's what happens when I don't have doctor's coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I had to pour water in my elixir today. So.
But anyway, we were talking, and I told him I used to be in radio, and we got to talking about, I got to tell him about the albums that the Doobie Brothers did, and
I'm sure he didn't know by the
and he said, hey, yeah, he said, I believe you used to be in radio. He said, there's, I won't tell the expletive pretty good,
Yeah.
and so I said, hey man, I mean, what brings you here? I mean today, and he said, well, we've got a concert tomorrow in Dallas. And I said, really?
Hot dog.
And he said,
Yeah.
hey, would you and your wife, and I introduced my wife to him, and he said, would you and your wife like to be our guest and be backstage and stuff like that? And I'll fit you guys for a Doobie Brothers satin jacket.
Oh.
And I said, oh, man.
Should have
Then
called
I
me.
then
Shoulda
I
called
thought
me.
then I thought, oh my God, she was having surgery the next day. So I said, man, I said I would love to, but she's having surgery the next morning. I don't know how that's going to go. And so we called Tucker over, and I introduced Tucker to him. And Tucker was his fiance at the time, was a photographer, but she would paint pictures of the picture she took, and
Yeah.
she was very
That talented,
very good.
yeah. Okay.
So I told Skunk Baxter, I said, this guy's a big music aficionado. He said, well, you want to come? He said, yeah. So that's one part of the story, and then we saw him 2 days later. Our bartender Tucker asked him how he went. He said, man, I could never repay y'all. He said, we were right backstage. Said we met everybody. They let my girlfriend take all the pictures they wanted to, and we got some nice satin
cool.
jackets and all this stuff. He said, I can never
Memories.
repay you.
Big memories.
So
right
I'm
there.
saying, well, I'm glad you had a good time. And I looked over at Karen. I said, mm-hmm.
Well, you know where Green, Texas is.
Oh, yeah,
which my
Green.
ex used to call it Gruen, Texas. Grue.
There's a lot of people that call it that
Yeah.
that are
well,
not Texan.
We used to have a place up in Wimberley, between Wimberley and Baird, on the tail end of Devil's Backbone, and a beautiful spot. Had some acreage up there, right on the Guadalupe River. And we decided to get out on an afternoon. I said, well, let's go to Green. It was like a Tuesday afternoon, I mean, there's nothing going on in Green, Texas on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, mostly on Friday, Saturday, Sundays.
And I had
yeah.
never been in Green Hall before. I said, well, let's just stop
Really?
here. And
That's great.
Back then, I was drinking long neck tall boys, and all that, or long necks, or Lone Star long necks is what I'm trying to think. Anyway, the short story is, we walked in, and there might have been 3 people in the whole place. It's a pretty good sized place where you see bullet holes and cracks in the wall and all that. I mean, just an old hoedown dance hall kind of a place. And
It is. You're right.
walked in, we sat down, and ordered a couple of drinks, and then we're sitting there talking, and I'm kind of panning the area, Well, in the far corner, right at the end of the bar, who do you think I saw sitting there?
Who's that?
Willie Nelson and Jerry Jeff Walker.
You gotta be kidding
Sitting
me.
at a table by themselves, and I mean, I've always dug old Willie, and I used to see him when I was a kid growing up at the Hootenanny in Lubbock, Texas. Wee Willie Nelson and the Wee Willie Pickers. And I'd since learned Jerry Jeff music. I'd met him up in Amarillo one time, but I thought, Jesus Christ, this is a perfect opportunity. I got to go say hi. So I got up and went over and introduced myself to Willie and Jerry, and they invited us to sit down. We sat down, shot the bull with them about 15, 20 minutes, and then we excused ourselves because I think it was kind of a business meeting, or they was probably talking about what they were going to smoke that night or whatever. whatever the case may be. It was very cool, and I
cigars, everybody, cigars. Okay,
right. Cigarettes and Tipperillos. But as a result, Willie's road manager was in there, and talked to him, and as a result of it, we wound up doing I wound up on his stage crew when he was doing the New Year's Eve shows in Houston for 7 years running. And it's true what they say. You know Willie, you party with Willie.
Yeah.
So it was just a hoot, just the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet.
That's
he
terrific.
Really laid back old country boy.
And Ray Wiley, I imagine he's the same way.
Wiley,
I went to several of his concerts, but I never met him.
Well, I've met him on a couple of times and talked to him, but he is so deep, it's like talking to Frank Zappa. I mean, this guy is deep. I mean, cool guy, but very intelligent. I mean, very top shelf songwriter, and usually those kind of people are kind of strange.
Got to get off that L.A. freeway without getting killed or caught, you know.
But Ray's cool. He's still touring. I mean, he's been around in the DFW area a few times, and supposed to be back here in a couple of weeks.
Boy, you hit it right on the nose. Yeah. He is some kind of talented songwriter.
Yeah,
he puts on a good show too.
Tell you what, he's deep in the mind. He's got some deep thoughts. If you're not talking. If you're not talking on his level, he'll act bored real quick.
Got a quick story for you. When I was working down in Altus, Oklahoma, the station brought in Ricky Skaggs to the big bar up there, the Honky Tonk.
I know Ricky well.
And they had the radio station set back in the back of the room at the big table for us. And he was putting on a show, and of course, the illustrious Miss Kay over here, she is 4'11". She couldn't see over people, so she made her way up to the stage.
Well, he's a big boy too, Ricky.
And very talented. He played all kinds of instruments and that. But anyway, Karen got up there by the stage, and she kept getting escorted off away from the stage and back to our table. She did that 2 or 3 times because she couldn't see. Well, after the show was over, now this is a funny and true story. Yeah. After it was over, the road manager, his road manager came up and thanked the station for helping bringing him there. Yeah. And so, would you like to go on the bus and meet Ricky? Of course, what you gonna say? Well, yeah. I mean, okay. Twist my arm.
Yeah, he frequented East Texas a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, we went out to the bus and they opened the door, and who was the first one on? Miss Kay.
Yeah, I was going to say Karen.
Mm-hmm. So Ricky Skaggs was sitting in the back at a table, and he said, "Welcome, y'all." He said, "Did y'all enjoy the show?" Miss Kay said, "Hell no." And he looked at her and he said, "Well, why not?" She pointed at the road manager, said, "'Cause I'm cleaning up. This SOB right here would not let me get by the stage so I could see you."
That's right.
So Skaggs laughed a little bit, and what happened? He calls her back to that table, and they had a 10, 15-minute talk, and he gave her a autographed picture before he came up and met the rest of us.
Wow.
But cool. that was
Well, Ricky was one of my presenters when I went to Nashville with Kicks.
Yeah.
They got my
you
awards,
told me that story.
Great guy. Just a great guy.
Yeah.
He is.
Boy, what talent.
Man. He can play anything. He's like
guitar, banjo, mandolin.
He's like Vince Gill.
Yeah.
He can play anything. Actually, he'll outdo Vince Gill when it comes to picking. That boy can play.
Yeah, and he can do that bluegrass music.
He can do anything
where
he
there's
wants
some
to do.
Fast picking.
Show me something with strings on it, and I'll show you how to pick it apart. So, that boy is talented as he can be.
Now, I'm sure a lot of you out there have got your own stories that of people that you've met in a bar.
We want to hear them.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, I met my cohort right here and his lovely bride. Of course, it was coincidental, just to teach you how small the world is, in our field office.
Mm-hmm.
We got talking radio, and God, we used to listen to each other's shows back in the day.
Yeah.
But
Sure
yeah,
did.
yeah, we want to
Sure
hear
did.
your stories about anybody and everybody you've met. I mean, I even met my girlfriend in the
Yes.
same field office. We're,
Yes, you did.
we're shagging, living together, and and seeing and all that good stuff. And I'm digging it.
Now, if you're looking at your monitor, this is what Pappy and I humbly call our field office. We say that with affection.
Yeah.
And a lot of the folks up there, as you can see on your monitor
Yeah.
back there, I mean, when one person has a birthday, we all celebrate.
This happened to be your birthday that
Yeah,
day.
that was my birthday that day.
I'm glad
And
you reminded me of that because I might have not known.
But we want to hear your stories. Send it to us at Grandpa and Pappy
At
at gmail.com.
That's right. We love hearing from you.
Yeah, we want to know what your stories are. And if we get enough of them in, we will read those on the air, too.
I dare you to give us something to talk about.
We'd love to hear it.
That's what we do.
Yeah. The
We are listening.
Yeah, and we're going to have the boomer crat on here pretty soon.
The big boom. Yeah, well, he had to skate today, or we might have sucked him into this show. So.
Yeah, kudos to my old friend and co-worker Joel Hardy, who used to be Hardy of Hoss and Hardy at K-Rose in Tyler, that had the #1 show for years
I remember him.
down there.
I do.
He is tuning us in, and hopefully we can get him on the air to share some of the stories that he has, and he moved on to bigger and better things from K-Rose.
I'd love to get Roy D. By God Mercer on this show. Let him light it up a little bit. We'd probably have to go back and edit quite a bit. He's a card. He's a card.
That is true.
I met him at a radio conference one time. He's a pretty cool guy.
Well, that's
Funny guy.
that's a good thing to try to come up with,
Yeah.
and we just love to hear from you folks. We can never tell you that enough.
We read each and every one of your emails.
Yeah.
We do.
So anyway, we want to see some pictures. Do you have pictures? I mean, do you have pictures of when you're in the in your favorite place? Of course, we know that all these places have been closed down right now. Now, we're not talking about the time that that they're open or that they're
you
closed.
know what we forgot to mention?
What's that?
What's your buddy's name that was asking? He said he used to live in Lake Worth, and and it just behooved him or slipped his mind where one Biloxi Square is.
That is Dan H.
Dan H.
from Denton. I don't know his last name. He just said Dan H. that he used to live here in Lake Worth.
And I don't know where one Biloxi Square is, really. I mean, and I told you the other day I was going to take when I had a chance on the way in the studio one day, I'd stop and take a picture of it. So, so for your information, if you can't remember where this place is, shame you live in Lake Worth, brother.
Well, bingo, there it is.
That's where it's a lot bigger than it looks.
That is Studio A. Once you go in the door, it expands, and
well, that's just the entryway. We've got.
We should tell them that we have a basement down there.
Oh yeah, it's 14,000 square foot. I mean, we're set up with all the production equipment and all the good stuff. You need to come visit one time. Just don't flush on your way down the stairs, or your butt's in trouble. Okay.
Well, if you flush, you'll fall down to the basement. Let's put it that way. Remember, get smart.
It's a shortcut to getting in front of the desk here. Okay. But that's where we are each and every day.
Yeah, well, we want you to tell us about your experiences and send them to us here at Grandpa and Pappy. Give them the address one more time,
That'd
Pappy.
be Grandpa and Pappy at gmail.com, or look us up on YouTube. All you got to do is pull up YouTube, hit the search bar, and put the Grandpa and Pappy Show, and boom, we're right there in your face. All of our X shows and promos, everything's there, brother.
It is all there, and we
Yep.
want to invite you to watch every one of them. Give us your comments on them, and have your friends to watch it, and
That's
subscribe to our channel.
We appreciate you guys. You rock.
Until next time, we want to say thank you,
We love you.
and we'll see you then.
Stay in touch.
Bye-bye.